By the late 1960s, many Americans wanted the war in Vietnam to end. Protests were growing, and public pressure was high after years of violence and rising casualties. President Richard Nixon promised to bring U.S. soldiers home in response to this demand for change. His plan was called Vietnamisation. This meant the United States would train and equip South Vietnamese soldiers to take over the fighting so that American troops could leave. On the surface, it sounded like the war was ending. But while U.S. troops were slowly being withdrawn, Nixon secretly made the war bigger. He ordered heavy bombing in neighboring countries like Cambodia and Laos. This was controversial because these countries were not officially part of the war, and many people saw it as an illegal expansion of the conflict. These bombings were meant to destroy Viet Cong supply lines, but they caused huge damage and many civilian deaths. This made the war even more unpopular, both in the USA and around the world. Back in Vietnam, the plan wasn't working as hoped. The South Vietnamese army, called the ARVN, was not ready to fight alone. Many of its soldiers lacked proper training, and morale was often low. The army also suffered from poor leadership and corruption, which made it difficult to organize effective resistance against the Viet Cong. They relied heavily on U.S. weapons, money, and air support. Many soldiers were poorly trained and lacked motivation. Without strong leadership or support from the people, the ARVN struggled to fight the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese army. As more American troops left, the fighting continued. The Viet Cong were not defeated. In fact, they took advantage of the situation, regaining strength and support. Nixon's government tried to show the public that things were going well, but the results on the ground told a different story. Vietnamisation failed because it could not replace U.S. military power with an effective South Vietnamese force. It also increased distrust in the U.S. government as the public found out about the secret bombings. In the end, Vietnamisation was not a true solution. It simply delayed the U.S. exit without changing the outcome of the war. Now think about these questions. What was Vietnamization and why did Nixon introduce it? How did bombing Cambodia and Laos affect the war? Why did Vietnamization fail to bring U.S. victory?